again. Now let's do and start and draw this, how to start this beautiful pose. So we will have a line which crosses, or an axis which crosses, or a line coming that way, moving up here, coming down, and then moving there. Then another line here, whoosh, 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 there. And I'm going to measure the chin vertically to that line, which almost connects on a vertical line to her heel. Then possibly the end of that, which goes somewhere here. These are the specific part, but we know it's somewhere here in between the gluteus and the thigh here, that vertical line here, and those beautiful shadow lines, which I'm going to emphasize a lot more. The head, which is an axis of that sort there. See, that's the axis, goes through the nose and connects the lip and the chin, almost middle of the chin. Well, let's go for it. Let's go. Oh, this is very, a little bit odd here. The way that this kneecap looks, look. It looks like it's odd. It should look like a kneecap. Just this, it looks like it's not connected to the rest of the thigh. But anyway, it is what it is, so let's go for it. Hold on. So you see it there. Okay, let's go. Hello again to our Tuesday drawing lesson. We have a ballerina model this time. As explained on the intro video, we have that line which comes from the left, and that is the arm. You do have the head, chin, skull, jaw, chin again, and then down here you have that axis line, and that comes with the upper arm, lower arm, and the hand, which is hanging about like this. Then you have the body, bend it here, bum, and then the other axis which goes for the body and the leg. And that will be under her, or on a vertical line, almost her chin down here, which is correct. I might need to come a little bit further down with these, as in the foot. And then you have the kneecap, and that goes the other way. So the body weight is being rested on her left leg, and the right leg is keeping or holding the equilibrium. And then we have the foot here, there, calf, thigh, shin, calf again. It's a bit confusing the way that I've done the lines there. So I'll try and simplify it. Maybe come with a vertical line here, and so that will end here. So that will end down here, really. The heel, calf, and the foot here. Wow, what a change in all these lines. So I'm moving it left, right, and right here, left here, adjusting the heel. On a vertical line from her chin, the heel is good there. So I'm leaving it there now. And then you have the thigh, knee cup, elbow, hand again, 4 fingers here, 3 fingers there, index, lower arm, upper arm, body structure, that's the thigh, and the knee cup, which is her left thigh, shin. I think I've come a little bit there, so move the foot a little bit more to the left, keep the heel where it is now, lift up a little bit the bum and the arm. Let's get a little bit more to the left here. And continue with the upper arm. Lower arm. And the hand goes there. 3 fingers together, 1 apart. You have the hand going there. Okay, now let's move. On a vertical line, I can see dropping down that line down, and that goes to the knee, to the collarbone, to the bone structure here. Then you have foot itself coming up. That's the foot. This is the foot itself. Then here I can have the shin, knee cup, and you have a shadow which actually covers all that area from the crotch area to, and I'm also simplifying it. Crotch area, thigh, come up a little bit higher with the thigh here, make the thigh a little bit longer. Then you have the rib cage moving that way. Then you have the upper body, the bum here, right thigh again, some reflected light here, there we are, a darker tone on the background, a dark tone or a dark light and dark shadow. You have the projector which is lighting up this side of her shin and it leaving in the dark that side of her calf. Now that line is correct, it's just above the tip of the toes here. There you are. And then a little bit of a darker tone here on the upper part of her arm, upper part of the upper arm, correct. Then you have the head. This side of the head is dark, and this side of the head is in light. And you have the hair, then a darker tone on the upper arm and lower arm. So you have that area which I'm now is in the shadow, and that area it's in the light. Eye line, nose line, mouth, and chin. And you have a shadow here, or at least a soft shadow. There. And we can fix this mess. Actually, I was trying to adjust it, so kind of, well, I've made it myself a mess, but yeah, adjusting it now, and that is pretty much gone. The sheen, or the calf is quite wide here, but the sheen itself, it's quite thin here. The sheen and the structure of her bones is quite thin. And a little bit of a shadow here, so I can take some black from here and then add it to her shoes. Bit of a darker tone here. Yes, correct. Take some black here and then add it there. Here we are. A softer tonal value here. And the softer tonal value there. There we are. The thigh. And a little bit of a soft tonal value here, which is basically her upper shoulder. You have the elbow. I'm trimming the lower arm. There we are. Okay, let's get back to the drawing after the break. Now, with this soft sponge, I'm using some weird techniques. I'll try something like that because I want some darks here, but I don't want to do them with my fingers because I always run the risk of getting it too dark. So I'm actually using that sponge. I think that works. Yeah, and then that defines the line as well. Look, you see that's a strong shadow there because you have a very, very much lit area here. Very much. The lit area anyway, a lot of light coming through. So you have that dark tone here. And I can soften that shadow of her arm here. And then you have the dark background, which without even doing or using a line, it defines the leg. And so that's sponge. Basically, this is, where did I find this one? Hardware store. It's nothing special. It's an ordinary sponge, but it makes a difference here. And I'm softening all this area leaving a little bit of dark tone here again, taking some of the dark tones of the sandpaper and using it here, and it works really well and makes the darks softer, more organic. See, I've used the finger for that space here, because yes, it's dark or it's under the shadow, but it's not as dark. Instead of using the putty rubber, I'm using the finger there. And also a dark tone here on the foot itself, and also give it a little indication of that she's standing on the floor here, and she's not floating. There you are. And a little bit of a more of an intense turn of her foot, because that's what ballerinas do. They're extremely flexible. I'm turning this side of the sponge because it's more of an angular shape, and that it is more precise if I do it that way. Then you have the kneecap. And get some darks here, and this is the other foot, leg actually, thigh, and emphasize some very dark shapes here. And also I can use again the darks of the sandpaper and do the background here. If I do the background here, then I can come with some light lines, beautiful white lines, bright lines, which will define the shape of the cuff, of this cuff. And whilst I'm on the face, close by, define a little bit the nose, eyes, and hair. Now the hair is not that important in the sense that it's can have any type of hair, straight hair, curly hair, anything. And again, going on my sandpaper, doing a little bit, taking some darks and applying it here. Okay, now coming back with a charcoal. First of all, sharpening up the charcoal. So that's a bit like a knife edge. That is good to use it on details like this one. And nose, just giving that dark tone of the nose. Lip, chin, and a little bit of breast, chest, upper arm, lower arm, coming here, and defining these two, or bringing them together, these two lines, lighter, then the cast shadow of the head over her body, Maybe a bit bigger head. I do need to make the head a little bit bigger. Although she's a very young girl, but still the head I think is a bit small on me here. And shadow, the cast shadow of the head on the body, it's a little bit darker. Now we have the tutu. And this is the cast shadow of the dress over her leg. Dark line again. Cast shadow of the dress over her thigh. Kneecap. Sheen. And small finger, ring finger, middle finger, and the index. I'm giving her more of an elegant move of the index finger, although it's not as pointy as that. I'm just making it a little bit more pointy than it is there. Darker tone. Well, that's pretty much what needs to be done. It's the movement is there. Their shoe is here. Foot. Shin. A thigh here, and the thigh could go a little bit. I mean, I can increase the size, the length of the thigh by doing this, and the soft tone here on her dress. Then you have some dark drapery. Not dark, but it looks dark because of the shadow. Torso, slightly bit wide torso, and give it a little bit more of a longer thigh here. Kneecap. The kneecap looks a little bit odd on the real picture, but it is what it is. As I mentioned on the video, it looks a little bit odd, but it is the way it looks. It's just, I don't understand it, but anyway. Then you have some dark tonal value here on the background. And the foot which keeps the whole body weight is this one. And the dark tone, dark shadow. Okay, now with a little bit of putty rubber, we'll get some highlights, brighter highlights. And a little bit of an emphasis on the kneecap, calf, as well as the thigh here. Thigh here, and reflected light under here. those dark lights. Highlight here, highlight here, highlight here, the light here on the chest. And get those lines a little bit softer, less of a line and more of a form. And what do I mean by that? So I have the form here, I don't need darker tone, because if the light comes this way, which it does, that's why I'm eliminating almost all the lines up here. Here. Okay, and then you have some reflected light on the dress. Okay, here we are. And some reflected light here. And more of a form here. Here we are. Okay, okay. And then the last thing is this reflected light here. And here as well. On the foot. Okay, I think I'm done. I will see you on the next video. All right, and a little bit of a light here on that index finger up here. All right, see you on the next one. Sí, hasta luego, buenas noches.